皆さん、こんにちは。別のエピソードへようこそ。トップ10トゥーンズ。ここではお気に入りのすべての漫画を含む様々な主題のトップ10の漫画をカウントダウンします。新しい、古い、それは問題ではありません。
I really hope that came out right. Any Japanese speakers out there, let me know in the comments. Anywho, let's talk about anime.
Naughty!
I'm sure everyone and their grandma knows about anime, though old Gram may remember it as Japanimation. Anime has a very graphic style with so much detail and work put into their animation that Western cartoons sometimes look childish in comparison. Since the 80s, anime has slowly become a worldwide phenomenon, reaching a climax in the 90s with the introduction of the anime series Pokemon. One thing that most anime is known for is their awesome openings. Anime has some of the most dynamic openings out there, and the West recognizes this. Over the decades, Western animation studios have tasked Japanese studios with animating their shows. Some of these include the entire show and some just the openings, showing a clear difference in animation quality from the rest of the show. Today we are here to look at the best of these openings. Whether the entire show was animated with the help of Japanese studios, just the intro itself, the opening was created in an anime style, or perhaps an entirely original intro was created for Japanese audiences. These Western cartoons have openings made in Japan. Some of these openings were clearly animated in Japan, while others on this list may surprise you. Without further ado, here are the top 10 best Japanese animated openings for Western cartoons.
Number 10.
Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go! Even the title sounds like a strangely translated anime. This cartoon may look like an anime from Japan, but in fact it was created for American television for the Saturday morning block Jetix, while animation was done fully by the Answer Studio in Japan. The same studio behind the first 2 seasons of Transformers Animated, as well as some work in many of the Batman DC animated movies. This colorful opening is as active as their mouthful of a title. It uses transitions to the fullest as the quick pace changes match the beat of the song. Every character gets their chance to show off their stuff in a speedy sequence. The opening makes the name of the show stick in your mind by having a catchy song and throwing the title at you. This opening is like a fast-paced roller coaster ride. Your brain is overloaded with bright colors, a speedy song, and crazy fast movement. By the end, you feel overwhelmed in a good way, full of energy and ready to get into the action.
Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go! Come on with us! Let's go!
Number 9.
A radical opening to an awesome show. It's SWAT Kats. A show created by the cartoon giants Hanna-Barbera. SWAT Kats has 2 different openings during its run. This opening was created by Itsuki Imazaki, whose work in anime field is so big that I can't do it justice. The look of this opening has visible anime style with its detailed dark shading, fluid animation, and great action sequences. It has a similar feel to several 80s openings animated in Japan, which is definitely a plus. The moments with the villains and the jet coming down their base is particularly jaw-dropping. SWAT Kats is a beloved show that was a big part of many 90s kids' childhoods, with this opening ingrained in their minds for being as breathtaking as it is. I know that when I hear the name SWAT Kats, this intro is the first thing that comes to mind. That is how great this opening is.
Number 8.
Wings of silver, birds of steel, Silverhawks.
The 80s. Their openings were always a blast, and the Silverhawks is no exception, especially when it's animated by a Japanese studio. Silverhawks was fully animated by the studio Pacific Animation Corporation, who was most famous for animating another show that you may see on this list. But this show wins the silver medal, pun intended, in terms of the company's fame. From the get-go, this opening is incredible. The amazing design of the characters in the show shines through in this opening. Their bodies move so fluidly that it almost feels like we're watching live-action actors performing incredible feats. The space theme of the show works so well with the shiny heroes and the monstrous villains. It really feels like a galactic-sized adventure just by watching this opening. The bad guys look so intimidating, and yet the heroes still look unfazed and powerful in comparison. It really pumps you up. And that song, my gosh, I couldn't think of anything better for this show. The shrieks of a hawk playing alongside the high-toned voices with that 80s vibe go hand in hand with the amazing animation.
Wings of silver, nerves of steel. Silverhawks.
I've personally never watched the show, but I know of this opening just because of its reputation. It's 80s distilled down to its silver core and given a Japanese skin. Simply incredible.
Number 7.
Masked crusaders working overtime, fighting crime, fighting crime.
Not only does this opening have one of the best 80s theme songs, but the animation is right on par with the awesome tune. The show was animated with the help of the Japanese studio Ashi Productions, now named Production Reed, who are best known for their classic magical girl anime shows, including Magical Princess Minky Momo. With the impressive wireframe landscape at the start of the opening, you know you're in for some great stuff. This intro uses camera movement to the maximum, with interesting angles and movements to really make the action stand out. Using clever transitions between their shots that blend together rather than cut to one another keeps the motion constantly going throughout the opening. This intro is action-packed, with the vehicles in particular looking amazing as they travel through the desert and enter battle. The show was based on a toy line, and this intro alone makes me want to try them out and go on my own dangerous missions. With lasers blasting everywhere and vehicles transforming in unique ways, they succeeded in making these toys look amazing. This opening is a win in every way.
Number 6.
It's time for Animaniacs. We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony. And in this cartoony, we're invading your TV.
The big surprise of the list. It's mind-blowing to learn that both Animaniacs and Tiny Toons had a lot of their work animated in Japanese studios, including their openings. Tokyo Movie Shinsha, now known as TMS Entertainment, is a huge animation studio that has worked on countless animated shows and movies, including a large number of Western shows, such as Inspector Gadget, The Real Ghostbusters, DuckTales, and even Batman the Animated Series. You can bet that you'll be seeing their name again throughout this list. They are that big and that talented. Both Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs were produced by Steven Spielberg, and both are some of the best cartoons in history. With a legacy like that, you would think that the openings couldn't compare to the show, but you'd be wrong. With the catchy and memorable theme songs accompanied by the fun and goofy animation, their openings were just as great. With bouncy animation that matches the tone of the show, these openings are always a blast to watch. If you could distill cartoony antics to the pure core of what makes these cartoons great, then what you would get are these openings. Although they lack that anime influence that the other openings have had, they're perfect for these shows and are some of the best openings of all time.
Animaniacs, those are the facts. It's Tiny Toon Adventures, come and join the fun. And now our song is done.
Number 5.
A show about a giant mech battling alien threats. You know they had to get Japan involved in this. Tokyo Movie Shinsha returns on this list with an earlier work of theirs, The Mighty Orbots. Now this one definitely has some anime influence and it shines through in this opening. From the designs of the characters to the detailed look of the show, TMS had a big role in this series. Though the decision to design the mech a little too similar to TMS's other work on God Mars may have caused some controversy. Either way, this opening has some really nice angles and 3D movement around the characters, which is incredibly impressive for the time. The way the theoretical camera zooms through space and past the detailed environments really makes you feel like you're flying around alongside the Orbots in their adventures. It's an incredible opening and one of the most dynamic of the 80s.
Mechanical heroes are fighting for me and for you.
Number 4.
Pacific Animation Corporation returns with their most popular work in the West, the Thundercats. This opening is jaw-dropping. With its bright flashing colors and high-speed action, this intro has become one of the most recognized in history. Pacific Animation Corporation played a big role in the entire development of the show, but the intro is where their skill really shines through. The animation is just amazing. The characters look so powerful and heroic as they plow their way through their enemies. The quality of this opening is just unbelievable. I tried to explain why this intro is so good, but I can't come up with the best way to portray it because anything I say can't do it justice. This action-packed opening is beyond words. I mean, just look at this incredible animation and tell me that you don't feel hyped for the show.
Number 3.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
Perhaps the best opening to any cartoon. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles intro is just too good. Animated with the help of Toei Animation, another giant in the anime world, responsible for animating Digimon, One Piece, and most famously of all, Dragon Ball. It's no wonder why this opening is so incredible. Every second of this opening has original animation that blows everything else out of the water. Such great animation and incredible angles, this opening is an action-packed thrill ride. And don't even get me started on that theme song.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But, did you know that this isn't the only intro involving this version of the Turtles? Let me introduce you to Mutant Turtles Superman Legend. A 2-episode OVA, or original video animation, was created in Japan by B Media and Suburaya Productions based on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, and which followed the Japan exclusive toy lines of the Turtles. And you can bet that they created their own opening for that OVA, with clips from the show thrown in alongside a really catchy song, especially considering I can't understand a word of it. This intro is pretty good. However, nothing can compare to the version from the original. It's just way too good.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
Number 2.
If you thought there were a ton of Transformers cartoons before, hold on to your seats because we are heading east. Starting off as a toy line of transforming robot action figures, the Transformers soon became a worldwide phenomenon when a cartoon show was made based on the popular toys. Soon becoming a symbol of the decade, the Transformers were everywhere, and I do mean everywhere, as Japan got in on the action. The shows just kept on coming and never stopped. But we are here to talk about intros, and boy does Transformers deliver! The Transformers have had amazing openings over the decades, but Gen 1 probably had the best intros of all. Every season got its own intro animated by Japanese studios. Personally, my most favorite of them all is from Season 2, which was animated by Ashi Productions, the same company behind m.a.s.k earlier from this list. The amazing motion in this opening is incredible. Every second of this short opening is action-packed and visual candy. Zooming around the battlefield as the Autobots and Decepticons clash with lasers flying everywhere is just exhilarating. Definitely one of the most impressive openings to any show ever. But did you know that Japan also had their own series from Gen 1 of the Transformers? And not just one, not two, but 3 anime series based on the first generation of Transformers. Transformers the Headmasters, Transformers Super God Master Force, and Transformers Victory, with each of these anime having spectacular openings. Headmasters has a space-oriented opening with the transforming robots coming to blows in the depths of outer space. Lasers fill the battlefield as the two forces wage war. Watching as they fight each other while transforming really makes it feel like you're playing with the toys, especially with the large number of Transformers fighting at once. Super God Master Force, despite the ballsy name, actually has a very mellow opening that is focused a lot on the human aspect of the show more than the usual robotic heroes. This series has the humans as the center point of the fight against the forces of evil, rather than the Autobots doing all the fighting for humanity. This series has two openings, and both definitely have some cool looking action thrown in with the fights you know you're in for in these shows. Last on this trip down Transformers Lane is Transformers Victory. Going back to the traditional action-packed intro with wireframe backgrounds, Victory brings back the action to the forefront. This intro is a perfect fusion of Western-style Transformers openings with the anime-style scenes you would see in many anime shows. The Autobots and their enemies look powerful as they fight it out in galactic proportions. Out of all the intros, Season 2 of the Western show is still my personal favorite, but Japan did an amazing job on all the openings that the Transformers have had. An impressive display of skill from these animation studios.
Number 1.
This intro needs no introduction. The opening to X-Men the Animated Series is easily one of the best intros of all time. Animated by Saban and Graz Entertainment, Saban best known for Power Rangers, and Graz having produced many other Western cartoons such as The Tick and the Street Fighter cartoon show. The opening to X-Men is an adrenaline-filled joyride where the action never ends. Each X-Men character has a time to shine and show off just what they can do. Accompanied by the equally exhilarating theme song, this opening is unbelievably good. I could watch this opening forever and never stop getting a rush of adrenaline every time. So, if this intro was made by Saban and Graz Entertainment, then why does the text under it say Coop? Well, what if I told you that Japan had their own intro made for this show that not only rivals this opening, but it may be even better? Impossible? Well then take a look for yourself. Nobody does action better than Japan, and their version of the X-Men opening takes the action to a whole new level. The visceral and serious look of this opening makes the action feel all the more intense. With that rocking loud theme song, the powerful feeling of this intro is intensified even further. Just as the Western opening does, this intro shows off each of the characters' powers and portrays the dangerous world that they live in. But as this intro shows, the X-Men are up to the challenge and are ready to fight. Out of all the Japanese openings I have seen for Western cartoons, this one takes the cake. Not only did Japan animate the intro we know here in the West, but they also made their own equally amazing opening for the same show exclusively for themselves. That's not just impressive, that's downright unbelievable. So, how did you enjoy this look at the work from our friends in the East? Pretty incredible to say the least. Don't forget to stay to the end to see all the runner-ups, which are amazing in their own rights but just missed the list. Let me know in the comments which opening you like the best. Also, let me know if I missed any awesome openings made by Japanese studios for Western Toons. This one was a little harder to research, so I'd be interested to see any cool openings that I didn't come across. They're really fun to watch and gives you a glimpse at how Japan views these shows. And hey, while you're in the comments, why not leave a suggestion for next episode's list? Top 10 Strongest Toons. Which cartoon characters are the most powerful that you know of? We will only count characters that started as cartoons and not ones that are from comics or anime. Sorry Saitama and Superman, but you will have to settle your fight elsewhere. This is not just about brute strength, but also the abilities and powers that these characters possess. So leave your suggestion and let's see if they make it into the ring in the next episode. Also, don't forget, if you want to help support the show, consider subscribing. It really helps keep us on the air and on your screens. That's it for now. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Got a tiger by the tail. Hold on, tiger shark.
Enforcer.